All right. Back to Zoom. Let's close a few things on the computer first so we get more memory. Okay. What else do we have to close? Close that. Hold on. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Okay. We're ready. Get the guitar out and we will chant. Okay. All righty. Something simple tonight, like Jaiva Dharma. Hey Krishna, okay. Samsara Vita Ready to me a Vidyarabare Tomare Jai Tomara Amipina Bandura Jai Tomara Shani Maya Nashi Barola Kini Nama Mantra Love to be Magi Hey Shani Maya Nashi Barola Kini Nama Mantra Love to be Magi Akati Vinoda Prabhu Charane Bodhiya Akati Vinoda Prabhu Charane Bodhiya Say Hari Namamatra Loyla Kiya Say Hari Nama Mantra Loila Lumakia Jago Chijago Gorajana Bole Mitra Yaumaya Isachira Kone Chijago Gorajana Bole Mitra Yaumaya Isachira Kone Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jago Haribo 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 Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parabhadacharya also Teda Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopikapanath Sayama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagadada Sami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutle Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha Shunyavani Paschacha Teja Tarani Prabhupada Ki Jai. So let's read the translation to this poem. Lord Gauranga is calling. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You've forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have descended just to save you, other than myself. You have no friend in the world. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's lotus feet, having taken this Maha Mantra. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. So today we actually had a very busy program. We did Gornatai installation at someone's house, kirtan program, and everything like that. So we're going to keep tonight's class a little shorter just to give me a chance to meet the people who came. You know, when it rains and pours, a lot of people are here. So let's start with the Jaiva Dharma. So Magana Timirandasha Gananjana Shilakaya Chakshur and Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigaravena Maha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, let's share the screen and see what we got. And here's the Jaiva Dharma. Now, this part of the Jaiva Dharma, just to reiterate, is basically dealing with Bhaktivinoda Thakur's summary of the points of the Nectar of Devotion in the context of a discussion between the Babaji and these two devotees, Vijay Kumar and his nephew Brajanath. So, Vijay Kumar and Brajanath just visited the Babaji again, and they're starting a whole new program of interaction. So, let's start here. Vijay Kumar said, Prabhu, we are causing you great inconvenience. You are very affectionate to the devotees. You are mercifully accepting the difficulties. Today, we will understand the 64 angas of bhakti mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami from your mouth. If you are merciful, please explain so that we can easily experience pure bhakti. The Babaji said with a smile, I will list the 64 angas of bhakti mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami. So the first 10 angas are preliminary. In other words, prerequisites. You gotta do it. These are extremely essential. Oh. Extremely essential. Okay. So number one is taking shelter of a guru. Oh my God. Now why is that important? Well, the reason that that's important is that we have imperfect senses, we have a tendency to cheat, we have a tendency to make mistakes, and we are in illusion, right? So we need guidance. You know, otherwise it's like the blind leading the blind. Okay. Number two is then after initiation, acquiring knowledge from the guru. So I guess, you know, it's a little bit different than what Prabhupada translates. First is to take a shelter of the guru, and then take an initiation from the guru instruction. So anyway, it's basically the same thing. 3, service to the guru with faith. 4, following the rules according to the scriptures as approved by the acharyas. 5, inquiring about the real duties of life. 6, renunciation of enjoyment to gain Krishna's mercy. 7, residing in Dwarka or other holy places or near the Ganga. Now make your home as good as Vrindavan, so that's residing in a holy place. Accepting only what is necessary for dealing with the body. Not too much, not too little. 9, observing the Ekadasi Vrata, that means Ekadasi vow. 10, giving respect to the Amalaki, Ashwatthama, and other items. You know, these are trees or bushes. After this, the 10 angas that I will describe, and of course, Tulsi. The 10 items I will describe in the form of forbiddances should be carefully observed. 1, giving up the association of those opposed to the Lord. 12, not being attached to making disciples. 13, not being enthusiastic for huge undertakings. 14, avoiding the study of useless books in order to earn a living or to defeat others in useless arguments. 15, not feeling miserable in any circumstances. That's an order. So the commentators, this comment echoes the traditional Vedic system of initiation in which a person receives Vedic initiation Upanayana with Vedic Gayatri mantra. This qualifies him to study the Vedas. This tradition continued even with Pancharajaki initiation and study. However, when Nama Sankirtan becomes prominent, the requirement of Diksha before Siksha does not have the same importance as we see in the case of Brajanath and Vijay Kumar. So, in other words, for us, this is the way Prabhupada presented it, that we take Shiksha first, then Diksha. And actually, this is the way Prabhupada presented it. A little adjustment in Rupa Goswami's exposition. 16, not being subject to lamentation or other extreme emotions. You hear that? Don't lament. No other extreme material emotions. You can have extreme spiritual emotions. 17, not showing disrespect to the devatas, demigods. 18, not giving disturbance to other living beings. That means every living being. 19, not committing seva aparada. That means the offenses in deity worship, or nama aparada, the offenses on chanting. 20, not tolerating the criticism of Krishna and his devotees by those who hate them. So these 20 angas of bhakti are known as the door to bhakti. Among them, the first 3, starting with taking shelter of a guru's feet, are the main ones. Taking instructions, serving the guru, and taking initiation. 21, marking the body with Vaishnava symbols. So we have the tilak, you don't understand. 22, marking the body with the syllables of the Lord's names. Not everybody does this, but it's bona fide. 23, wearing the garlands, flowers, and sandalwood offered to the deity. In other words, the remnants. One gets purified by wearing the remnants, respecting the remnants that are offered to the deities or offered to the Guru Maharaj. 24, dancing before the deity. That's an easy one. 25, offering respects on the ground, done the butts. We all do that. 26, rising up to see the Lord. So in other words, when the curtains open, you offer obeisances and rise up. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory, as the song goes. Following behind the Lord's procession. That's when they take the deities out of the temple and they go to different places, sometimes people's homes, and you just follow behind them. 28, going to the Lord's residence or tirtha. It means go to Vrindavan or Mayapur or places like that. 29, circumambulating the Lord or his Dhamma. So that's when we circumambulate the temple. Usually do about 3 times. I do about 3 times a day. 30, performing archana. That means deity worship. 31, performing medial service to the deity. Paricharya. Means sweeping the floor and understanding that service to the deity. 32, singing for the deity. 33, singing in a group, Sankirtan. 34, performing japa. We do all these things. 35, offering words or sentiments. That means prayers. Same thing. 36, reciting prayers. So these are not mutually exclusive recommendations. 37, tasting food offered to the Lord. We do that every day. 38, tasting the foot water of the Lord. Do that every day. 39, smelling the incense and flowers offered to the Lord. We do that every day. 40, touching the deity. I do that every day. I have my deities. Govardhan Shilat. 41, seeing the deity. We do that. 42, seeing the Artrika and festivals. We do that. 43, hearing the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. Shravana. We hear Bhagavatam every day and Bhagavad Gita. 44, accepting the mercy of the Lord. 45, remembrance of the Lord, Smarana. 46, meditating on the Lord. 47, acting as a servant of the Lord, Dasha. I do that. 48, thinking of the Lord as a friend, Sakya. I do that. Offering oneself to the Lord. Yes, Krishna, I'm yours. 50, offering the best items to the Lord. It's interesting because sometimes what people consider to be the best items are not what Krishna considers to be the best items. In the early days, the devotees, they're basically many of them from the hippie class. they actually offered like dungarees to the deities, since they thought that was the best thing. But you should find out what Krishna wants, and that's the best thing. 51, making full efforts, and don't use your don't speculate. You may think, well, instead of offering this jewelry we're offering to the deities, we should offer real diamonds. But Prabhupada said no. The best thing is the devotion. 51, making full efforts for the Lord. 52, surrendering to the Lord. Very few of us do that. 53, serving things related to the Lord, like Tulsi. 54, studying the scriptures. We all do that. 55, serving Mathura. Yes, in Vrindavan. 56, serving the devotees. 57, holding festivals according to one's means with the devotees. We do that. 58, observing Kartika Brat. We do that. 59, observing Janmashtami and other special occasions. We do that. 60, having faith and great affection for serving the deities. 61, relishing Bhagavatam, the association of devotees. We do that. 62, associating with like-minded, affectionate, superior devotees. We do that. 63, Nama Sankirtan. 64, living in the area of Mathura. We do that since we're living in Radhagolokananda's Dham. So Mathura, of course, is the place where Krishna appeared in this world. The last 5 were described previously, but since they are the best, they are described separately as angas again. Last 5. My last 5 are faith and affection for serving the deity, hearing Bhagavatam, so it's deity worship, Bhagavatam, association with advanced devotees, Nama Sankirtan, and living in a holy place. All these angas or branches, angas of branch, should be known as worship of Krishna by the body, senses, and atha karana, the external self, anta. From 21 to 49, the angas are included in the second anga of taking diksha and siksha. Siksha means getting instruction, diksha means initiation. Vijay Kumar said, Prabhu, please teach in detail about surrendering to the Guru's feet. Okay, so we're going to get to some detail here. Becoming qualified for pure bhakti to Krishna, the disciple takes shelter at the feet of a guru in order to know Krishna Tattva. Tattva means the philosophy of Krishna. From a suitable guru. If a person has faith, he is qualified for Krishna bhakti. Faith means a firm conviction in the topics of the Lord after hearing these topics from the mouth of the devotees on the strength of previous lives. Sukriti, there's that word Sukriti again. In this case means devotional activities. In other contexts, it may mean material pious activities. Material pious activities don't help you develop faith. Only devotional service, knowingly or unknowingly, helps you develop faith. From the arousal of faith arises surrender. One trusts, then one's ready to do anything. If you trust someone, you're ready to do anything for them. Faith and surrender are almost the same tattva. They're almost the same thing because, a little bit different, but they're connected. You can't have faith without surrender, and you can't have surrender without faith, okay? But they're actually not the same, though. But they're different. I guess angas of the same tattva, basically. Krishna Bhakti is supreme in the universe. One accepts what is favorable for Krishna Bhakti. One rejects what is unfavorable for Krishna Bhakti. Krishna is the only protector. One accepts Krishna as the sole maintainer. These are the 2 surrendering principles. Actually, we're actually hearing all of them right now. Accept what is favorable, reject what is unfavorable. That's the first 2. There's 6 of them. Then Krishna is protecting one. One accepts Krishna as one sole maintainer. Krishna is maintaining one. We got 4 done so far. One feels extremely low and worthless, that is, humble. And then one does not show independent will other than Krishna's desire. That means having no separate interests other than the interest of the Lord. This is actually bhakti. The person who has firm faith following the desire of Krishna is qualified for pure bhakti. That's how you get qualified. Firm faith. That's really nice. Okay. As soon as one is qualified for bhakti, one becomes anxious for teachings about bhakti. And when one obtains a proper guru, one takes shelter at his feet. The Vedas say, famous verse, Tad Viganartam Sadgurumayeva Abhigachet Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. For knowledge with firewood in one's hands, one approaches a guru who knows the Vedas and is fixed in Brahman. Mundaka Upanishad. So what does that mean? Firewood in your hands? We don't see many people with firewood in their hands. That means that one is humble. In other words, that's a sign of humility, like grass between your teeth. It's a Vedic sign of humility. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. A person who accepts a teacher knows the Vedas. That's from the Chandogya Upanishad 6.14.2. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, that's Sanatana Goswami's book on Vaishnava behavior, the qualities of a real guru and disciple are described in detail. The main point is that one is qualified as a disciple if he is faithful and has a pure character. The real guru is a person who has pure bhakti, knows bhakti tattva, which, all the philosophy, has proper character, is sincere, without greed, devoid of mayavad, and skillful in actions. It's a pretty high bar. If he is a Brahmin respected by all society and has all these qualities, he can be the guru for the other varnas. If a Brahmin guru is not available, a person from another varna who is better than the disciple can be the guru. The essence of the procedure is that, putting aside considerations of varnashram, when one can obtain someone who knows Krishna Tattva, one can accept that person as a guru. If one obtains such a person among the brahmanas, it is convenient in a society which is conscious of varna. So, he's speaking about a particular situation. It's not that this particular injunction applies everywhere. But if you have a society where everything's conscious of what one's varna is, and actually one's varna is determined by actions and one's qualities rather than birth, then sometimes you have to make an adjustment like this so it will get respected. For example, when Prabhupada installed the deities in Vrindavan, he called for a whole bunch of birth Brahmins to do the installation because had he had the devotees, I'm not saying the Western devotees do it, it may not have been respected by everybody. So he was addressing social concerns. So sometimes you address social concerns. In America, we don't worry about that, social concerns, varnas and everything like that. But Prabhupada actually said the deities were installed by the Western devotees who did Harinam, not by the people who did all the rituals. In other words, he made a show with the ritual people so that people would respect. Actually, the suitable devotee is a guru. In scriptures that describe that the guru and disciple should test each other in proper times for diksha are also described. The conclusion is, so there's testing, mainly observation. And sometimes the guru does a little bit more than just observe the disciple. They give him different tasks and see how the disciple responds. It's over a period of time. And both have to judge each other and say, well, is this person qualified to be guru? Is this person qualified to be a disciple? The conclusion is that when a guru understands a disciple is qualified, and when a disciple has faith that the guru is a pure devotee, then the guru shows mercy to the disciple. Ashivad, blessings. There are two types of guru. There should be two types of gurus, plural. Diksha guru and shiksha guru. Diksha guru means the person that gives you initiation, and shiksha guru means the person that gives you instruction. Of course, you can get both from the Diksha guru, and the shiksha guru just gives one. But Diksha guru generally does also act as the shiksha guru. From the Diksha guru, one receives diksha and learns the method of deity worship. One accepts only one Diksha Guru. One can have many Shiksha Gurus. The Diksha Guru can give teachings as a Shiksha Guru also. So Diksha Guru is sometimes called a Mantra Guru. Vijay Kumar said, one should not reject the Diksha Guru. If he cannot give proper teachings, how can he give teachings? And here Babaji speaks about this. Babaji said, when choosing a guru, the disciple should test him. Seeing his proficiency in spiritual matters and topics described in the scriptures, the guru must be able to teach spiritual matters. The Diksha Guru cannot be rejected, but for two reasons he may be rejected. When the disciple chooses a guru and does not test him to see if he knows the doctrine, if he is a Vaishnava, he should reject that guru. If the guru is not a Vaishnava, since that person does not function as a guru. There are many proofs of this in the scriptures, Narada Pancharatra says. So in other words, it's not, when we're talking about teaching improperly, it's not that, my guru knows less verses than your guru, so my guru is not qualified. No, one has to teach properly. In other words, knowing the Siddhanta, knowing Ras, knowing Tattva. And a bona fide guru may not even know any Sanskrit verses. And an unbona fide person may know billions of Sanskrit verses. You can't judge from the level of mundane education. For example, you have Gorkashoda's Babaji Maharaj, who may not have known very many Sanskrit verses because he was illiterate. And he was accepted as the guru by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So you have to understand, guru doesn't mean one who knows more, but one who knows the truth. Yo vyakti nyaya ritam anyayena shrunotiya tavaval narakam goram rajata kalam akshayam. The person who teaches improperly and the person who hears the improper teachings both go to the worst hell for an unlimited time. Woohoo! Don't want to go to hell. Ururapjavaliptasya karyakaryam ajanata utpata pratipanasya parityago vidiyate. One should give up a guru who is arrogant, who cannot distinguish proper from improper. Distinguish proper from improper conduct, and who is addicted to sin. That's from the Mahabharata. Vaishnavo Padishtena Mantrena Niryam Brajat Punascha Vilina Samya Grahayad Vaishnavad Goro. One goes to hell by the mantra taught by a non-Vaishnava. One should accept again the mantra from a Vaishnava guru according to the rules. Hari Bhakti Vilas. In other words, so many people accept what the Brahma Gayatri means, the first Gayatri, from any person, and most of the people who get the Brahma Gayatri accept it from a non-Vaishnava, and they go to H-E-L-L. Anyway, the second reason for rejecting a guru is that on accepting a guru, the guru was a Vaishnava and knew the doctrine, but by bad association became a Mayavadi or a hater of Vaishnavas. Whoops. One must reject such a guru. Hold on a second, I made a mistake. I have to expand this window. I made the text bigger. One must reject the guru. If the guru one is accepted is not a Mayavadi or hater of Vaishnavas or addicted to sin, one should not give him up simply because he has little knowledge. Exactly what I said. Taking his permission while respecting him as a guru, one should take teachings from another devotee while serving that devotee. In other words, Sometimes the Diksha Guru will say, well, you should take instruction to learn about this specific aspect. I mean, like many gurus sent their disciples to Srila Jiva Goswami for instruction, because they knew that Jiva Goswami was the most erudite in applying this Krishna conscious philosophy. Vijay Kumar said, what is taking Krishna Diksha and Shiksha? What is taking Krishna initiation and instruction? Shiksha instruction. Babaji said, after learning the process of pure bhakti and how to worship the deity from the Guru, Diksha, one serves Krishna and cultivates Krishna with sincerity. Later I will teach the angas, the branches, of deity worship one by one. It is very necessary to learn Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan means the different aspects of truth, basically, like Krishna, the living entity, material energy, and the relationship with each other. Abhideya Gyan, that means basically the performance of devotional service, which we're learning about now, and Prayojana Gyan, from the feet of the Guru. Prayojana means to learn about what is the goal of Krishna consciousness. Vijay Kumar, so here's the number 3. So we already dealt with approaching the Guru and taking initiation from the Guru, and even when to reject the Guru. So Vijay Kumar asked the question about number 3, which is, what is serving Guru with faith? Babaji replies, one should regard the Guru as the sum total, or the sum of all devatas, demigods, not thinking him as an ordinary human being. One should never disrespect him. He is understood to be among Vaikuntha Tattva. In other words, he's on the spiritual platform. Or like Prabhupada said about his Guru, he's a Vaikuntha man. So here's number 4. Vijay Kumar said, what is following the path of the devotees? Babaji said, by some method one absorbs one's mind in Krishna. That is sadhana bhakti. But one should find out the path that the previous exalted devotees followed, because that path is always without difficulties and most auspicious. One can perform bhakti without fatigue. The Skanda Purana says, Samritya Shriya Samhitu Panta Santa Pavarajata Anavapta Shamam Purve Yena Santa Patastire. The path by which the devotees previously followed should be sought. It is the cause of the greatest benefit, devoid of pain and fatigue. In other words, you take the example of the devotees and you take that as a path to follow. As mentioned in the Mahabharata, Mahajaniyena Gatasapanta. The path is not determined expertly by a single person. Previous great souls have prepared the path of bhakti time and time again. Like we have our Prabhupada. One should take that path. Don't invent things. And don't think, I'm going to follow this person, that person, like a smorgasbord. Brahma Yamala says, Shruti Smriti Puranadi, Pancharatra Vidhim Vina, Aikantaki Harer Bhaktir Ur Patha Jaiva Kalpate. If a person seems to have attained steadiness in practicing pure bhakti of the Lord, that bhakti is a misfortune if it rejects the rules of Shruti, Smriti, Purana, and Pancharatra due to lack of faith in them. In other words, one invents his own process of pure bhakti without making reference to the scriptures. Scriptures are the original Vedas, the supplementary literatures, the Puranas like the Bhagavad Purana, and the Pancharatra, which are instructions like Narada Pancharatra in doing specific things. So if we do something concocted, then even though it appears to be bhakti, it's not bhakti. It's a disturbance to society. Can you explain how ekantaki bhakti creates misfortune? So, utpata. So, ekantaki means like one-pointed bhakti. So this is very important, because bhakti is not following the path chalked out by the previous acharyas and the scriptures. That bhakti is not really bhakti, it's like imitation bhakti. Babaji replies that the dedicated spirit, ekantaka bhava of pure bhakti, can be attained by following the path of the previous devotees. If one creates one's own path, one cannot attain a dedicated spirit. Thus, recent preachers like Dattatreya and Buddha could not understand pure bhakti and showed inferior paths mixed with atheism or mayavada, along with a little bhava bhas, like a reflection of bhakti emotions. They just reflected it, but it wasn't real. In those methods, they concocted some devotion to the Lord. Actually, this is not bhakti to the Lord. It is a big disturbance. For example, if someone invents their own mantra, which many so-called Vaishnavas have done, and that chanting the own mantras is just a disturbance in society. Or one thinks one can become Krishna conscious by smoking marijuana. That's a disturbance in society. Even though one thinks they become more focused, more Krishna conscious, it's not a fact. Worship in Raga Marg means spontaneous devotional service, does not depend on the rules of Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, or Pancharatra. It depends only on following the people of Braja. But if one follows Vidyamarg, one must take support of the bhakti described by previous great devotees as Prahlad, Dhruva, Narada, Vyasa, and Shukadeva. There's no method for persons in Vaidhi Bhakti except to follow the path of the devotees. In other words, if one is qualified for Raganuga, or the Raga Marg, that's a big if, then they don't have to worry too much about the scriptural injunctions. But Raga Marg, to be qualified for Raga Marg, you better be free from all unwanted things like lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, and fear. You better be free from those things. Or you have to be free to be qualified, or the Adhikar qualification, to perform spontaneous devotional service. Then everything you do is on the spiritual platform. It's not that you violate the rules and regulations of the Shastras, but basically you are much more spontaneous in your description, in your execution of Krishna consciousness. But very few people are on that level. All right, next question. Number 5. What is inquiring about Saddharma? Saddharma means eternal religious principles. Babaji said, in order to understand Saddharma, eternal religious principles, not temporary religious principles. Temporary principles are like different details, like dress this way, have a sika that looks like whatever, put your tilak on like that. That's not Saddharma. Saddharma is things that always exist and never cease to exist as part of the process of devotional service. Some externals come and go or change, but Saddharma is eternal religious principles. Give an example. One eternal principle is that we're not the body. Another one is we're part and parcel of Krishna. In order to understand Saddharma, a person will have quick success if he has a persistent mind. That means if he's determined. Persistent mind means that he inquires with insistence to know the Dharma of the devotees, Saddharma. That is Bhakti. Saddharma means eternal principles that don't change. Okay. So as I mentioned before, we're going to end a little early today because we had a very, very busy day and we got a lot of things to do. So we're going to take questions right now. A few questions. Try to end a little early. And we're going to allow you to unmute yourselves. Hold on a second. So we're just going over today the 64 items of devotional service listed by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, okay, who has a question? You can either type in the chat window or you can raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself, whatever you'd like to do. Huh? No one has a question. Maybe we'll get a chance to end a little early today. Anybody? Okay, here's a question. Hare Krishna Gurudev. Please stop my business. Getting mantras should be from bona fide guru, then mantra has potencies. How about the Maha Mantra? No. Maha Mantra has already been given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But one should hear it from a pure devotee. And the reason you should hear it from a pure devotee is you won't be getting other things at the same time. Just like the Ganges is always pure. But if you're bathing in the Ganges and some dead body comes along and touches you, you be contaminated, even bathing in the Ganges. Sorry about that. So you want to bathe in the Ganges where there's no dead bodies floating around. So in the same way, chanting the holy name is always pure, but you may be getting other things at the same time when you're getting the holy name from someone who is impure. So that's why Prabhupada said one should hear the Maha Mantra from the lips of a pure devotee. And I was fortunate enough, first time I heard it was from Prabhupada's lips when I was listening to the radio. I told that story again. So getting the mantra refers actually to the second initiation. And in the traditional Gaudiya line, only the, they didn't call it second, of course, only the mantra initiation, that means getting the Gayatri mantras, was considered initiation. There wasn't a concept of a first initiation, like we have. Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sort of had that, but Prabhupada really turned it into a whole procedure. That is a whole procedure where you have fire sacrifice and everything like that. And in the Gaudiya Math, they didn't have that whole procedure in general. It was just like giving a name and beads or something like that. But Prabhupada considered that to be initiation of the holy name. And that's really required to become a pure devotee of the Lord, is to chant Hare Krishna. So, the second question is, does the Maha Mantra become more potent after Diksha? No. But if one takes Diksha properly, one becomes more receptive to the chanting of the Maha Mantra, the chanting of the Bhagavatam. No, Maha Mantra is always potent. It's always none other than Krishna. But one should hear from a pure devotee because you don't want other things given to you at the same time. Just like you can have prasadam is completely pure, but if you mix it with something else, the prasadam is pure, but that doesn't mean you should eat the other thing because you'll get contaminated from the other thing. So, Maha Mantra is always potent. It doesn't become more potent after Diksha. Namachintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigara Purnashuddha Nijamukto Binatwam Naminamino. But when you hear the Maha Mantra from a pure devotee, then you get the Bhakti Lata Bij, Brahmanda Brahmate Konna Bhakyawan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai. Bhakti Lata Bij, we're wandering in the material universe, and by the mercy of Guru, mercy of Krishna, we get Guru, and by the mercy of Guru, we get the Bhakti Lata Bij. And that enables us to chant purely. So in other words, getting the mantra, hearing the mantra from a pure devotee will enable you to actually come to the pure platform, because you're going to get the Bhakti Lata Bij, the creeper or seed of devotion. Good question. So, any other questions? As you see, I'm trying to end early tonight because we've got a lot of things happening. So, anyway, tomorrow we have our Sunday feast. Will be roughly at the same time, the Sunday feast lecture. And that'll be tomorrow, same time, roughly, same station, and we'll be sending a WhatsApp message out so that all of you can join. So, on that happy note, we will see everybody tomorrow. Thank you very much. All glories to His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada, Ki Jai.